What in the world is happening? This is Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner. 5 minutes before we're about to go live, I get the news that Sam Darnold has been added to the freaking injury report. This coming to us from Ari Mirov. What the hell is happening? What are we doing? How in the world can the Seahawks go from being on a bye week to being in a position where our starting quarterback 2 days before the freaking game is about to happen is on the freaking injury report? This cannot happen. This cannot freaking happen. He's dealing with an oblique injury. For those of you who don't know what an oblique injury is, that's that muscle right over here on the side of your core. Absolutely terrifying. There's a lot of people I can see right now in the chat that had no idea that this was about to happen. I'm flabbergasted. We were in the middle, literally in the middle of filming a joint preview for the Seahawks and 49ers matchup with the 49ers host Chase Sr. And then we get the news about Sam Darnold. This coming from John Boyle, obviously a great beat reporter for the Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold said that he felt a little something in his oblique early in practice, but he said he expects to play on Saturday. I don't know what we're doing, man. Obviously, I hope that Sam's able to go. I hope that Sam's able to play. It does feel like maybe potentially he is on track to be there, but this isn't good. I can't sit here and pretend that this is good news. I can't sit here and pretend that we're going to be in a position that I feel super comfortable about. I'm almost at a loss for words right now. I'm excited. Searle was excited. We were going to come on and have a fun show. A nice, easy show and a build-up, get ready for a playoff game, and we can't. Now, the question you might be saying to yourself is, well, Will, how bad is the injury? Was Sam Darnold at practice earlier today? Well, yeah, but guess who got a lot of reps with the ones? Drew frickin' Lock, our backup. Our backup QB got reps with the ones today. Now, that's not necessarily the end of the world. That does happen from time to time, and it does feel like, from what we've heard from Sam, which we'll get into here in just a moment, it does feel like he's been pretty honest about what his injury is, and he does feel like he is in a position where he'll be able to go out and play for the Seahawks on Saturday. In fact, he's made it pretty darn clear that he does expect to play. But for him to be questionable right now doesn't make me feel pretty darn good. The fact that offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak is saying that Drew Lock got reps with the ones in practice because of the injury doesn't make me feel good at all. At all. At all. Look at our quarterback's stats for this year. He's obviously been fantastic. He's thrown the football all over the yard this year. The interceptions are a little bit too high, but he's done a pretty darn good job of coming in and putting the Seahawks in a position to win ball games. He's done a fantastic job of that. So the fact that he has ended up as questionable on the Seahawks injury report with an oblique injury does not make me feel good. Doesn't make me feel good, Searle. It doesn't make me feel good at all. We might be looking at a next man up type of situation. And if that's the case, Drew Lock better be ready to go. Drew Lock has to be firing on all cylinders. Light Shadow Onyx, I see you. Thank you for the super chat. We'll get you up on the screen in just a moment. Drew Lock hasn't played since that Saints game, which was week 3. And the only reason he played in that game was because it was such a butt whooping. It was such a butt whooping. And I see people in the comment section right now saying, hey, don't worry, Will. Drew Lock is a solid quarterback. Yeah, but he's a backup for a reason. He's a solid backup quarterback. He isn't a starter. Seattle's going to have to run the football at an extremely impressive rate if Seattle's going to come away with a victory here. Extremely impressive. And I don't know. I just don't know if that's going to be possible. What's your concern level right now with the Darnold injury? How are we feeling? Let me know down below in the comment section. I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about it. I tell you right now, 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10. I think that might be where we're at. That might be where we're at right now. I'm seeing people down below in the comment section. Sheed Band says 0. I wish I had your confidence. I'm seeing Steve saying 8. Matt says y'all need to relax. I don't know if that's possible right now. Your boy is pretty frazzled. Crawler says a 3. Nick Gold says an 8. Matt says he's fine. I didn't realize you were a doctor, Matt. Congratulations on your degree. Laney says 6. 6 as of now, 9 if he's out on game day. I get that, salted drunk. Hopefully we're not too salted. 3, I don't feel too bad, says Patrice. All right, Cyril. Are we ready to rip this thing? I would like to rip this thing as quickly as possible. Thank you to the 259 people in the chat right now. Hit that thumbs up button. If you have a question that you want to get shown on the screen, come in, send in that super chat, or use the hashtag Seahawks for any question that you have around Sam Darnold. We are going to record our live reaction to the Sam Darnold news right here, right now, and then Light Shadow Onyx and anyone else who sends in a super. We will get to your questions as soon as we are through with that. So if you have a question around the Seahawks that you need answered right now, because I'll tell you what, it's getting freaking crazy over here. Send in that super. Let us know. Do you feel... And use the hashtag Seahawk. Use the hashtag Seahawks. Do you feel good with where the script has us, Cyril? You feel good where we're at on it? Okay. Okay. Let's rip this thing. Let's just rip. Actually, yeah, let's play the intro. It'll make it easier for whoever's grabbing it. Yep, let's do it. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Calvin, go hang out with Hobbs, and I'm not being dramatic. When your starting quarterback ends up on an injury report, it's probably not a good thing. It's probably not a good thing. Crawler says that he wants to see Milroe. We're not going to see Milroe. We're not going to see Milroe if we don't have to. Jerry, I appreciate it. We'll get to it right after we get through this video. Okay, sir? You and Light Shadow Onyx. We'll get you. Yes, sir. Let's do it. All right. We're going to get into our instant reaction of what's going on with Sam Darnold. This isn't good, Seahawk fans. This is not good at all. Welcome into Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and Ari Mirov just kind of set the studio on fire. Quarterback Sam Darnold, he's on the injury report. He's listed as questionable with an oblique injury. This coming to us about 30 minutes or so ago, a little bit over. And I'll tell you, it caught me completely off guard. It was something that I was not expecting. It was something that I was not ready for. And I think that a lot of other Seahawk fans were not ready for it to pop up or be something that ended up being a talking point in today's video or in any video going out this week, any article, any preview. And to make matters worse, my initial reaction was just, okay, well, maybe he got a little bit of extra treatment, right? If you go in and you get extra treatment, sometimes you end up on the injury report. But as long as he was at practice and he was fine, good to go, we should be okay, right? Right? Well, offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak kind of gave us some bad news that Drew Lock also got reps with the ones in practice today because of this injury. Drew Lock getting reps with the ones means that Seattle, they have their backup plan ready to go if Darnold isn't able to be out on the field. That means that the injury was important and significant enough that Seattle could not risk having our starting quarterback go out onto the field and be ready to play a practice football situation today. That means that they did not trust Sam Darnold's oblique to be able to withstand whatever a Thursday practice looks like for Seattle, which for most teams, it's a frickin' walkthrough. What the F is happening? How is it possible that Seattle goes from being the number one seed in the NFC on a bye week where they should get healthier and healthier and healthier throughout the week to being a team that now not only has their starting left tackle on the injury report, that has their starting middle linebacker on the injury report, but the most important player on the offensive side of the football, Sam Darnold, your freaking quarterback, on the injury report. And to the people that are telling me, Will, you're overreacting, I think you're underreacting. How is there a world where we aren't having a little bit of a freak out over Sam Darnold ending up on the injury report, especially for an injury to his core that will affect how he throws the football? We're going to talk about, obviously, what's going on with Sam Darnold, as well as dive into a little bit on what's going on with Charles Cross in the video today. But before we get into any of that, come on in and hit that sub button. We are trying to catch up to the 49ers report. They are ahead of us right now. What are you going to get if you subscribe to the channel? You're going to get great coverage on the Seattle Seahawks. I promise you that from a real Seahawks fan. Do not let the 49ers win this sub battle against us this week. All right. Here is Sam Darnold's stats for the season. He has done an excellent job this year of throwing the football down the field to an open JSN. Now, I would make the argument that he can do a better job of not forcing the ball into his other receivers. That's going to lead to a lot of interceptions for Darnold. But when Seattle has played San Francisco, the difference between winning week 1 and losing week 1, and winning in week 18 was Sam Darnold's turnovers, right? He turned the ball over once against the 49ers with a fumble in week 1. He did not turn the football over against the 49ers in week 18, and that led to a victory. Darnold, while yes, there are some things that he clearly needs to improve upon. While yes, there are things that Sam Darnold does that does frustrate me, he is by far and away the only quarterback that I want out on the field for the Seahawks. And when we're talking about his core injury, if you watch college football, you will know that this is the same injury that Quinn Ewers had last year with Texas. And you can draw a direct comparison and see how worse the Texas offense went from when Quinn Ewers had a healthy core to when he had a non-healthy core post his oblique injury. Quinn Ewers was able to push the ball down the field when he was healthy and feeling 100%. He was not able to push the ball down the field for Texas after he hurt his oblique, and it led to them being a short passing game offense. And that clearly hurt what they were doing offensively because teams didn't have to buy into their deep play passing ability. So teams were able to suck up and add more players into the box. Will San Francisco be able to do that against the Seahawks team? Because when you've seen Sam Darnold at his best is when he's pushing the ball down the field. Now, when we look at his backup and the potential of Drew Lock playing, Drew Lock has not had to be used a whole lot this season, and in fact, he's only really played in backup mop-up duty. The last time that he played for Seattle, it was against the New Orleans Saints. For those of you that are saying right now in your head, the Seahawks played the New Orleans Saints, it was all the way in week 3 of this NFL season. Now, Lock has been around the block. He was obviously a starter in Denver for a couple of years, and he actually had a couple of starts in Seattle as well. Remember winning that Monday Night Football game against the Philadelphia Eagles. So Drew Lock is definitely a capable backup. But for me to sit here and say that I feel 100% comfortable with Drew Lock being the starter in this matchup would be completely false. It would be completely false. Hopefully, Seattle will be able to not have to use Drew Lock. And it does sound like Sam Darnold is trying to kind of damp down some of the worried fans and the worried nature of people like myself. But before I dive into those quotes and kind of what he's been saying, I need to ask you, What is your concern level with the Sam Darnold injury going in to the NFC divisional round playoff matchup against the 49ers? Rank it 1 to 10 right now in the comment section. I am partying at an 8. I'm not going to lie. You're getting an instant reaction from me. And right now, it's a frickin' 8. I don't feel all that comfortable with where Sam Darnold is. Let me know down below in the comment section. Now, as I say that, Darnold should be able and should be ready to go to play on Saturday. At least that's what he said. Now, I am going to be paraphrasing his quotes that he had to the media because they happened right as we started recording this video. But essentially, Darnold said that it was an oblique injury. It's something that made him uncomfortable. He wanted to make sure that he got some extra training eyes on it, got through some extra stretching, and had some extra treatment on it. He said it was something that he didn't want to go out and risk further injuring today. It was something that he felt like he could sit out today and still be at 110% ready to go on Saturday against the 49ers. And I'll tell you, that makes me feel a little bit better. But it doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel like he will necessarily be normal Sam Darnold. Right now, we have to hope, we have to pray that he is 110% ready to go. We have to hope that he isn't lying. Because when we look at what's been happening with the Seahawks in that injury report, it gets worse day after day. This is the injury report that we obviously have going into Wednesdays. At the time of this recording, the Thursday practice has not come out yet. But to have Sam Darnold not be on the injury report at all on Wednesday, to be on it on Thursday, it's got to freak you out. Because it certainly freaks me out. And I was coming into this show being ready to tell you about how I was nervous about Charles Cross. So imagine where my heart is beating and how I feel right now with what's going on with Sam Darnold. Now, we have to get into even worse injury news. Or I guess maybe not worse injury news, but let's add another log onto the fire right now. And let's talk about what's happening with Charles Cross. Because he went from someone who was a full participant in practice just on Tuesday to now being a guy who's a limited participant and has actually added in another injury. He went from being on the injury report with a hamstring issue to being added onto the injury report with a freaking knee injury. This is not good, Seahawk fans. This is not good at all. To go into the most important game of your season with, at best, your left tackle banged up and your quarterback, that doesn't make me feel all that confident. And I was pretty damn confident going into today. Lee Vowell had this to say on Charles Cross's injury over on 12th Man Rising. Cross was listed with a hamstring injury, but also related to his knee. No real details are known about the issue, and the Seahawks, as well as many other teams, will simply list anything that could be wrong with a player as a reason they can't play or practice. I'll tell you right now, that still doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel good. We're at a position where our left tackle went from, hey, he's back, I think he's going to be able to play, to not being able to go. He went from a guy who's now dealing with, hey, it's just a hamstring. It's a lower body injury. He'll be okay. We'll get it figured out. To, well, what does that knee issue end up doing for Cross? Are you worried? Are you concerned about what's going on with Charles Cross's injury designation? Scale it down below in the comment section, 1 to 12. Do you feel confident? Do you feel comfortable that our starting left tackle will be able to play? Because if Sam Darnold is taking a shot, that's not going to be good, especially for a core injury that doesn't get better unless you stay out and rest, which Darnold really can't do on Saturday. I'm officially nervous about Cross's ability to go out and play in this game. I'm officially nervous with where he's at. And I don't feel that much better about who would be potentially replacing him as the backup. I'll tell you right now, I feel like both of the backup options for Seattle aren't really all that good, because when you look at them, yeah, Josh Jones, he's been pretty good as a backup this year for Seattle. Here's the problem. Dude hasn't practiced all week. Amari Kight, I don't really remember the last time that I've seen him out on the field for any meaningful snaps. In fact, I can tell you how many snaps that he's played in just one moment. Because Cross, we need him out on the field. Amari Kight has played in 4 games this year. Guess how many snaps he has in those games, Searle? 4. 4 snaps. He has 1 snap in every game. I can't have that guy be my left tackle against whatever the 49ers are going to throw at him. I understand that the 49ers don't have the great defensive ends that they had when they started the year. Doesn't matter. It doesn't freaking matter. You can't have Amari Kight go out there and be your starting left tackle. And right now, Jones is in a position where he's not going to be able to go. We have an issue. We have a freaking issue right now in Seattle. Jones hasn't practiced all week. Amari Kight has played in 4 snaps. This group does not look ready to go. This team is in a position where the 2 most important people on the offensive side of the football for them might not be able to play. And if they do play, best case scenario, they aren't going to be at 100%. I'll dive into a little bit more on what could be happening with the Seahawks squad and with the Seahawks offense, but I got to let you know about this insane deal right now going over at chatsports.com/Seahawks shirt. It is a sweet shirt that I'll tell you right now will make you the envy of all the Seahawk fans in your life. Just check it out. Emerald City football. You got the green going into the white. Sweet blue right there. Looks like it shows off the muscles just a little bit. It was $35. It's now $16 over at chatsports.com/Seahawks shirt. Make sure that you go in and check that thing out. chatsports.com/Seahawks shirt. chatsports.com/Seahawks shirt. Man, I cannot wait. I'll tell you right now, it's a sweet shirt. I bet you I'll see a lot of Seahawks fans hanging out with it. All right, so back to Amari Kight and kind of the position that he's in right now. I have no confidence in Kight at all because I don't believe if Seattle has to run him out there that he's going to be able to get the offense going in the ground game. Right now, we're going to get ready to show you what's been happening with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet throughout the season, but I really want to make sure that I dive into how well they've been playing recently for this offense. This ground game the last month or so has been the reason why Seattle's been winning football games. You can see it. Week 18, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, they ran roughshod over what was happening on the defensive side of the football in San Francisco. Over in Carolina, Zach Charbonnet ran roughshod over the Panthers. The week before against the Rams, it was Kenneth Walker with the big play explosives. I don't believe that Kight is going to be able to put this team in the position to continue that rushing attack. You think that Robert Saleh isn't licking his lips right now, getting ready to attack this squad? He just flat out is. So somehow, some way, Charles Cross has to be ready to go. Because if he's not, I just don't know how Seattle comes away with the victory. The other option is maybe you shuffle around some of the O-linemen, but I just don't really see it happening. The last little injury bit that I want to touch on real quick before we get out of here, Ernest Jones did miss practice earlier this week with an illness. I still feel pretty confident that he's going to be able to go out and play for the Seahawks. Hey, maybe he's just going to channel his inner Michael Jordan flu game in this one. I think he's going to be okay. I think we're going to see Ernest Jones flying around making plays. I don't worry about the injury issues that we've seen on the defensive side of the football for the Seahawks. I certainly worry about the injury issues and the injury reports that we're seeing come up right now for the Seahawks on the offensive side of the football. Make sure that you follow me over on social media. The minute that the news broke about Sam Darnold, I fired off a tweet. I'd like to tell you that it was really in-depth and it was really informative, but I'll be honest, it was a lot more of what the F is happening. But I'll tell you right now, as more information comes out, there will be more in-depth information and more in-depth and positive thoughts and positive reporting that I will be able to do on Sam Darnold and his injury, and frankly, on whatever happens with the Seahawks in the year of 2026. Go and give me that follow on Twitter as well as Instagram. I got a lot of content coming out there for you at Will Ortner. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video, and I'll catch you guys next time. Sweet. Okay. So we're going to reset here. If you could throw up the Ari Mirov tweet, I would really appreciate that, Searle. And then I know you have to handle some things behind the scenes, so I'll be here with the people. Don't you worry. To those of you who send in super chats, we will get you up on the screen. But if you've been living under a rock or you just heard the news of what is happening, Sam Darnold is now officially on the injury report for the Seahawks ahead of the 49ers game with an oblique injury. He's dealing with a core issue that has made him questionable for this game. Now, Sam Darnold, he has been basically telling people, hey, I feel comfortable. Make sure you get the time on that as well. As close to it. Yep, as close to the time as you possibly can. He got it. Okay, we're okay. No worries. So, Darnold has said he is going to play. And I touched on that in our video. But it is important to note, and it is important to remember, that just because a player has said they are going to play doesn't make me 110% confident that they will be at the level that they need to be able to fly around and play this game to the best of their ability. I believe that Darnold is going to be able to give it a go. I believe that Darnold is going to do his best in this matchup against the 49ers. But to sit here and say that I'm not worried, and for people to sit in there and say that I am too paranoid, I don't think they understand how important a core injury is to a quarterback. Think about Tom Brady. Tom Brady stopped bench pressing. Tom Brady stopped doing big, heavy lifts. Tom Brady did a lot of rotational core exercises. You see it with pitchers as well. They do a lot of rotation, a lot of core injury prevention, because these are the types of injuries and those are the types of muscles that they need to be able to perform at the highest level possible that they can. Sam Darnold has a hurt oblique, and it's going to affect how he throws. It just has to. John Boyle had this with Sam Darnold, said he felt a little something in his oblique early in practice. He still expects to play on Saturday. I'm uncomfortable for it. I'll tell you that right now. I am very uncomfortable with where he's at. Patrice is more worried about Charles Cross. I don't necessarily blame you. Kia, sometimes these types of injuries happen at practice just because guys are trying to flow through their normal practice plan. It's just the same as, like, you ever get out of bed one day and have just like a weird injury, or maybe, hey, you haven't ran in a little bit, you try and run to catch up to the bus or whatever you're trying to do, and you come up, I'm a little sore, a little banged up. Sometimes that happens to players as well. Jerry Brooks has a good point. Running the ball is going to be key, and it's going to help the defense drastically. I couldn't agree more. I think that is the right case. I think that's the right spot to be. Right now, talks of treasure. Yes, I'm 6 out of 2. Pablo thinks that Drew Lock is going to play. I think that is definitely a possibility. To sit here and say that Drew Lock playing isn't a possibility, I think that's burying your head in the sand. You have to operate worst case scenario to best case scenario. What's the worst case scenario? Sam Darnold isn't able to go because of how beat up he is, how he doesn't feel good. I think that there is an opportunity or an option right now where we do see Drew Lock, especially if Darnold takes a shot or two, which could definitely happen because Charles Cross, I don't feel good about where he's at. Patrice, use the hashtag Seahawks. Don't use the hashtag Seahawks, and we'll get you up on the screen in just a moment, and you'll be a part of our mailbag show, which is at the end of the show. We had to kind of do a little bit of a different type of show today for this Seahawks Live. Light Shadow Onyx, Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Good to see you in the chat today. That's fantastic. Sorry I'm not as excited or as hyper as I normally am. My mind is racing trying to make sure that I don't leave a stone unturned when it comes to Sam Darnold. Only the Seahawks could blow a divisional game because a ton of their players got hurt during practice. I'm also a fan, Light Shadow Onyx, of the Ducks, so maybe it's a me thing. Maybe it's a Will Ortner is the problem thing, because the Ducks had this same issue. They go into a bye week, and then they end up playing Indiana. They go into a bye week, end up playing Iowa, and key stars for that team just ended up on the injury report. Now, there is a next man up type of mentality that Seattle can easily dive into, but wow, oh wow, it doesn't feel good. Do I think the Seahawks can still win this game with Sam Darnold at 80%? Yeah, 100%. 100% I think that they could. It's important to note that Fred Warner has been he's not going to be able to play in this one. He has been designated to return to practice, but he is not going to be able to play for the 49ers against the Seahawks in this matchup. So that is something that is important to kind of note, and that is something that is important to kind of keep track of. Jerry Brooks, I'm sorry, man. I wanted to come on here and not be freaking out, not be worried. I think that a lot of the real ones like Jerry know that I'm a pretty calm and cool, collected guy when I come on to these shows. Now, you're going to see excitement from me, but more so, it's going to be a positive excitement. It's going to be an excitement based on, hey, this team is in a position where good things can happen to them. Or, hey, maybe that's bad news, but I still think glass half full that a guy like Charles Cross will be able to go out and play. But right now, you're getting my raw reaction. I just learned about Sam Darnold at the same time that you guys did, and I think everybody just learned about it because it literally happened in practice today. I'm sorry that I can't calm you down, Jerry. I want to, but I'm freaking out too, man. I'm freaking out a little bit on this offensive side. Now, I still think that the defense being mostly healthy is going to give Seattle obviously a great chance to win this football game. I mean, Sam Darnold, it's not like he got any touchdowns going for Seattle against San Fran in the first game, but it does mean that you're going to have to run the football at an effective rate the entire game against a team that is going to try to make you throw the football. I don't feel good about our offense having a backup quarterback potentially, or again, an 80% version of Sam Darnold, best case scenario, it feels like, against Robert Saleh calling plays. You think that he's not going to dial up some pressure? You think that he's not going to try and make life uncomfortable for the Seahawks? I feel effing terrified about where this Seahawks team kind of seems to be at. I feel effing terrified. Santiago, good to see you. Sam said he will be fine, and there's a 100% chance. There's a 0% chance, that he doesn't play. It's a smoke screen, boys. Don't worry and go Hawks. Well, first of all, go Hawks to you, sir. Don't you worry. Let's fire through all of these super chats, Cyril, before we get into that cut. I do appreciate where your head is at, though. Santiago, yes, he said that he's going to be able to play. I think that we will see Sam Darnold start this game. This is not necessarily a smoke screen. You can't just put yourself on the injury report. Now, Santiago does bring up a good point that anytime that a player goes to the training staff to get extra treatment, that could be a massage, that could be a rub down, that could be extra workout movements, extra exercise techniques, whatever. Those are things that are going to put him on an injury report and have him listed. What makes me worried, Santiago, is that he didn't practice at all today, right? He comes in, warms up, feels a tweak, shut it down. And I know that they're being precautionary right now. They want him as healthy as possible. But that makes me feel like if it's gotta shut him down, that does make me feel like that Sam Darnold is not being 100% honest with us. And that's good. I don't want him to necessarily be 100% honest with us. But for him to be in a position where we're talking about maybe he's 80%, that doesn't make me feel good, Santiago. Still go Hawks. Hopefully he's able to push us to a victory. Christian, what's going on, man? Good to see you. I really appreciate you sending in the super absolute beast. This would be a massive blow for you Seahawk fans if Sam cannot play on Saturday. Yes, it would, Christian. I know there's a lot of Seahawk fans that are going to say, hey, we're 100% confident. There isn't going to be an issue here. He's going to be okay. He's going to be running out on the field and looking like the same type of guy. I hope so. I think you're going to see a lot less mobile version of him. And some of the best things that Sam Darnold has been able to do the last couple of weeks is extend plays. If he's stuck in the pocket, that means the O-line has to be perfect in pass pro. So they better be. Jerry! If SD doesn't play, it hurts bad because when the injury happened. Because if Locke has to play, he's now playing with very few first-team reps, definitely freak-out worthy. Agreed, Jerry. If Sam Darnold gets hurt last week, or he gets hurt at the beginning of this week, yes, it's terrifying. Yes, it's scary. But Drew Lock would have 2 full practice days, 3 full practice days. He'd have an extra walkthrough before the game. He would be positioned to be the starter with the most amount of reps to put himself in the best position to succeed. The game plan would be written perfectly for Drew Lock to perform as best he can. Drew Lock is a different quarterback than Sam Darnold. To have this injury pop up on a Thursday right before the game, it really limits how Kubiak can make a pivot or have backup plans set up for Drew Lock and for this offense. Because I'll tell you right now, if I'm Robert Saleh, I'm planning to send more blitzes. I'm planning to go after this offense because I don't believe that Sam Darnold is going to be able to move as well. Best case scenario. I don't feel 100% comfortable. The Seahawks just put out a post over on Instagram. Feel like I'll be ready to go for Saturday. He's going to play on Saturday. That's a quote from Sam Darnold. He will play on Saturday. I think you would have to have a military might to not let him be ready to go. He will play on Saturday. But what type of version will we get from him? Because his legs have been a lot more useful recently, especially on limiting his turnovers. A lot more useful. Thank you, Searle. Searle's doing an excellent job behind the scenes right now, running the 1s and 2s. Xander, let's go, baby. Sam's got this, and the Seahawks got this. I still think we can win this football game. I still think the Seahawks can win this football game. It's an injury. You got to be able to fight through it. Everybody is hurt right now. It's scary that it happens to the most important player on the offense. And I hate to really put that out on one player, one position, but it's true. It's 100% true. The quarterback is the most important position on this team. I hope that Sam Darnold's ready to go, and I hope that he's ready to fire up this squad. Dave! Maybe this is a play to get the 49ers to scheme for Drew Lock. Well, if you're the 49ers, you do have to be prepared for Drew Lock now ready to go. You cannot let this just be a full scheme because, well, that's just illegal. They could not do that. The Seahawks would not be allowed to do that. What is important to mention here with the injury report is that it means Sam Darnold for sure went and got extra treatment, and he did have to shut it down today at practice. Now, he's saying it's precautionary. He is going to be out on the field on Saturday. That is his plan. But Seattle has to have a backup plan for Drew Lock to get the most out of him, and the 49ers have to have a game plan to be able to defend against Drew Lock. They have to be ready to go. It's just the facts right now. Dex, what's going on, man? Sammy D showed us how tough he is last year when he knocked us out of the playoffs at Lumen. Seahawks win 35-0. I love your energy, Dex. I freaking love everything that you're coming with right now. Yes, he has shown that he is a powerful quarterback. Yes, he has shown that he is a tough QB, and he can do the most for this Seahawks squad to potentially come away with a victory on Saturday. It's still a core injury, man. It's still a core injury. For those of you who are just joining us right now, Sam Darnold has been added to the injury report against the San Francisco 49ers. He has been reported to have an oblique injury and is questionable. Now, all the quotes coming from Sam have been that he is going to play on Saturday. In fact, the Seahawks just put out a post on Instagram with a picture of him saying feel like I'll be ready to go for Saturday. He still left practice. And Seattle had to use Drew Lock to get a lot of the reps today with that one crew. Seattle still had to use a lot of the reps on the ones with Drew Lock at quarterback. There's something to note. What is your concern level right now with the Sam Darnold injury? Let me know in the comment section. Scale it 1 to 10. Do you feel good? Do you feel bad? Are you at a confidence level of, hey, he's going to be okay, ready to go and play well for this squad? Or do you feel like it might be a little bit of doom and gloom? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you'd like to be featured on today's show, send in a super chat just like you saw Jerry, just like you saw Xander, just like you saw my guy Dex. If you send in a super, we'll get you on the mailbag. That'll be the last segment of today's show. If you want to get in a question to try and be on the mailbag, use the hashtag Seahawks. Shout out to Early Bash. We'll get to your super chat after this next segment. We are going to rip it. There's 251 of you. Make sure that you hit that thumbs up button. You might not be excited about what's going on for Sam Darnold, but you will be excited about what the Seahawks can do with a victory. We are going to show you a pre-recorded preview that I did with the 49ers report host Chase Sr. earlier today. You will get my uncut and unfiltered reaction to not just the Sam Darnold news breaking, but also to the Fred Warner news breaking in this video. We will be right back after this video gets sent out to you. So make sure that you're still replying in the comments. We're going to be replying to you in the comments as much as possible. So without further ado, here is that preview, and we'll be right back after.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into the show. I'm Chase Sr., host of the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. He is Will Ortner, host of Seahawks Today. We're going to preview this Niners-Seahawks divisional round game. Kickoff set for Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, the third installment of this rivalry during the 2025 season. And, Will, I want to begin on the injury front. A lot of fascinating injuries going on that could obviously play big roles in this game on the Niners sideline and the Seahawks sideline. And a big injury for Seattle is a player who's been out for about a month at this point, and that is left tackle Charles Cross, who the Seahawks gave a massive contract extension to on January 4th, former first-round pick. They gave him over $100 million. What is going on with him? Because earlier in the week, it looked as though he was definitely going to play, and now his injury status is a little bit up in the air.
I wish I could tell you exactly what was going on with Charles Cross, Chase, because I came into the week saying we got our guy back. Everything is sunshine, rainbows, ponies are running around, unicorns are living in this world. And then all of a sudden, it's not only is he a limited participant in practice on Wednesday, but a new injury has popped up. Originally, Cross went down with a hamstring injury. I don't know why he tried to do the splits. Probably didn't do it on purpose. In that Indianapolis Colts game when Myers kicked the game-winning field goal, he's been out since then. Now, with the limited participation in practice, it had something to do with a knee injury as well. Is that something that's going to be able to keep him out for this game? That would be terrifying for me because his backup, Josh Jones, has not practiced all week long. So that means that the Seahawks would then have to turn over to Amari Kight, a guy who has 4 snaps all freaking year long. Look, I know that doesn't sound good to me. Probably sounds pretty great to you.
Well, yeah, I mean, the 49ers pass rush has really struggled, of course, since losing Nick Bosa to the torn ACL, Michael Williams as well. San Francisco's dead last in the NFL in sacks. And I was really impressed with what Robert Saleh's defense did against Jalen Hurts and that Eagles offense in the wild card round. But it's not like they were able to generate a lot of pressure. I think Jalen Hurts' average time to throw was about 4 seconds. So he was able to operate from a very clean pocket. But if you take Cross away from that Seahawks offense and that offensive line, it doesn't just impact their passing game. I think it impacts their running game as well. And under Clint Kubiak, that is something that they really want to establish is running the football. And you think back to what happened in Week 18 at Levi's Stadium as the Seahawks dominated the Niners and they got that number 1 seed, the first-round bye and home field advantage, which is why this game is happening at Lumen Field in Seattle. They ran the football 39 times for nearly 200 yards. Charles Cross did not play in that game, but when you have him, He just adds another dimension to that offense. And we've seen the value of Trent Williams and how he makes everybody better along that Niners offensive line. That's what Charles Cross does with Seattle. On the Niners front, what's happening with Fred Warner is fascinating. And Will and I, we look at each other and sit across from one another inside the bullpen here at Chat Sports HQ. Earlier in the week, Will's like, Fred Warner's not playing, right? And I'm like, no way. But as the week has progressed and as Fred Warner has been on the field, he's bouncing around. Yep. He's looking healthy. He's hitting the sled. He's accelerating, decelerating. He's doing a back pedal. He's nodding his head as he's running by the media saying, I'm looking pretty damn good. So at this point, I think there is a real chance that Fred Warner can play in this game. The Niners don't have to make a decision until 4 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. I also think there's a little bit of gamemanship happening from Kyle Shanahan. He doesn't want to play his hand and tell Seattle what's happening with Fred Warner. And I imagine that's how you're feeling too, in addition to all Seahawks fans who are like, is number 54 going to be playing in this game? I don't think anybody knows.
Well, I went into it kind of thinking, hey, Fred Warner isn't going to be able to play this week. Maybe he tries to give it a go at practice and putting himself in a position to where he's ready to fly around in the NFC Championship game. I mean, shoot, on Seahawks Today, we had a video earlier in the week where I literally asked, did the Seahawks dodge a bullet? Where I said, hey, I don't know that Fred Warner is going to be able to go, but I'll tell you right now, he's going to do everything in his power to make sure he's able to get out on the field. And unfortunately, I feel like I've almost spoke it into existence that Fred Warner is going to be able to play in this matchup. And it makes sense, though, that the 49ers don't want to tip their hand here because the Seahawks are actually doing something similar. Now, not with a player to the caliber of talent of Fred Warner or necessarily the impact, but you're seeing the same thing happen with Seattle and Elijah Arroyo. Now, Arroyo has been on IR for the Seahawks, dealing with an injury that he suffered, not able to go as kind of that second tight end for Seattle. But when you look at the difference between Arroyo being on the field and not being on the field, the rushing numbers go up, the expected performance per play goes up, the yards per play go up. Arroyo is a special talent, not necessarily because of the stats that he's put on the field for the Seahawks, but because of what he forces other opposing defenses to be able to do. They have to be able to have a player on him that can cover, as well as try and attack him in the run game because he's such a good blocker. Now, he's been a full participant in practice the last 2 days for Seattle, but they have only designated him to return to practice. They have not allowed him to be back on the active roster and activated him from the injured reserve. I believe that he will be active and he will play in this game on Saturday night. But I'll tell you right now, if that report has to go live at 4 p.m. Eastern time, we are not going to hear word on Arroyo until 3:59:59. That's just how Mike McDonald rolls.
Okay, so Will and I are recording this show Thursday afternoon, and we just got some more breaking injury news for the Seattle Seahawks. And I'm not kidding, just to get a reaction out of Will Ortner here. Quarterback Sam Darnold has been added to the injury report with an oblique injury. He is questionable for Saturday's divisional round game against the Niners. Of course, that has major implications in this game as well. If he can't play, it's...
Of course.
Who would be the backup?
It's Drew Lock.
It would be Drew Lock.
It's Drew Lock.
Okay.
You're not going to have to learn Jalen Milroe yet,
Okay, so Jalen Milroe is not the backup. It's Drew Lock.
It's Drew Lock. Yep.
Holy cow. Your reaction to that live.
My instant reaction, not good, Bob. I hate every part of that. Now, I still think that he's going to be okay, but I hate to kind of draw this comparison. We saw last year, if you're a big college football fan, how an oblique injury can affect a quarterback. If you watch Quinn Ewers play at Texas, the difference in how he was able to throw the ball deep down the field at the beginning of the year, post the injury to his oblique, was night and day. He wasn't able to push the ball down the field nearly as well as he had been at the beginning of the year, and you saw a Texas offense really suffer from that. What could that mean for Seattle? I'll tell you right now, I'm terrified. What were the Seahawks doing during their bye week? Were you practicing with pitchforks and knives at practice? Did you go to the Aaron Donald school of we got to do all of these drills with legit kitchen and steak knives? There's no reason that the Seahawks should be getting worse injury news. as the week goes on when you just had a bye week to get yourself healthy. Now, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that this is just something where, hey, he needed a little bit of extra, an extra training room session or some extra work with one of the trainers over at the Seahawks. But I'll tell you right now, a core injury to a quarterback, especially a position where you're so much rotational when you're trying to throw the football, I don't feel good about it.
Clint Kubiak said that backup quarterback Drew Lock got reps with the Seahawks starting offense today, 2 days as we're recording this. Show's probably going to come out on Saturday morning before this playoff game against the Niners. And you mentioned something that is so important. And when I started to get into fitness, I'm not as big or as yoked up as Will Ortner, the former college football player. One of the best things I did was read the TB12 Method, book by Tom Brady, and he talked about functional movement and functional strength. For instance, for Tom Brady, he never really was a big bench press guy. Why do you need a bench press if you're a quarterback? It doesn't make sense. You don't need to have ripped six-pack abs if you're a quarterback, but you want to have some strength there because of the torque on your throws and what you're putting on the midsection of your body, but also the hits that you're taking in the midsection as well. And so an oblique injury for a quarterback, it is a big deal, and it is a big red flag for the Seahawks going into this game. A lot more to get into here with our Seahawks-Niners preview. We'll talk more X's and O's on the other side, but first I do want to get to our sponsor. Today's show brought to you by Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine or you're making player picks for the first time, trying something new can be hard. But in life and on Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure playoff matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never stops. And Prize Picks lets you take control. New feature alert, Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out of those winnings before the game even finishes. And you can also find your community on Prize Picks. With the new social feeds feature, you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups from winners with a single click. Copy lineups you like or use them as inspiration for your own picks. You can even follow Prize Picks partners like us and tail or fade our picks with just one click. And Prize Picks has a great special as the divisional round of the playoffs is underway. 99% off C.J. Stroud max discount. All he has to do against New England is throw for one or more passing yards. It's half, more or less, on the passing yards right there. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Now, I think here at Chat Sports, we do a really good job of having thought-provoking conversations, very informative conversations. And a talking point that I've been thinking about this week is that you have the Seattle Seahawks, number 1 seed, home field advantage, first round bye, they're at home, but the pressure is on the Seahawks. The
100%.
Niners are playing with house money here. They're so injured. They have the lowest odds to win the Super Bowl of any team. I think it's plus 2,000 right now among the teams left. They went on the road. They upset the Philadelphia Eagles as 6-point underdogs. Now they're touchdown underdogs against Seattle, and they're kind of going about this week in a very free-flowing manner. Kyle Shanahan doesn't look stressed. He looks very relaxed. The players are going out there. They're thinking maybe they get back Fred Warner. That's adding to the mojo for San Francisco. Do you, from the Seahawks fan base standpoint, feel a little bit of pressure from the Seattle point of view going into this game against the Niners?
Yeah, I feel it right here because that's apparently where everyone feels it in Seattle, right in that oblique muscle, for those of you who don't know, because Reek Woolen has one too. Yeah, I was having a conversation with Joey Peterson today, another great Chat Sports host, where he asked, how confident do you feel? And I said, I'm scared of how confident I feel in the Seahawks. I'll tell you right now, I don't feel all that confident. When you look at an injury report that just every single day adds another star player from the Seahawks team onto that injury report, I do feel the pressure. I feel a little bit of nervousness around this team because who wins in the playoffs? Teams with great defenses that also stay healthy. And the Seahawks team right now, yes, we have the great defense, but we're not staying healthy. And if Sam Darnold is not able to really throw the football and sling the rock that he needs the way he needs to if the Seahawks are going to win this game, then the Seahawks have to rely on the ground game. That means that this game is going to be close. And in a close football game, all you need is one weird bounce. All you need is the ball to bounce off a CMC weird into Drake Thomas's hands for an interception, and that can be the game-sealing win. And that's what happened in Week 18. I don't know that that's what's going to happen for the Seahawks or for the 49ers if everyone is not healthy and ready to go. But whenever you have a coin flip type of a game, like this game is starting to feel more and more like every single week, yeah, I'll tell you right now, I'm a little tight over here, and I think a lot of Seahawk fans should be a little tight as well.
Officially no Fred Warner for this game, by the way. Kyle Shanahan said that Fred Warner looked good at practice Thursday, and he's confident that Warner has put himself in a good position to play in a potential NFC Championship game if the Niners were to beat Seattle in advance. I do want to talk Kyle Shanahan against Mike Macdonald. It's a great matchup.
Yep.
You have Kyle Shanahan, the offensive play caller and play designer for the Niners, and his scheme is all across the NFL. Then you have Mike Macdonald, who is one of the brightest, best up-and-coming young defensive minds in the sport. You have Vic Fangio, who's kind of the OG, and then on the other side of that, you have Mike Macdonald, who's the younger guy. I still believe he's the youngest head coach in the National Football League. I believe still, right?
I believe so. I don't know who would have passed
Either
him.
way,
he's in his 30s.
Really turning a lot of heads with what he's doing from a play calling standpoint, personnel standpoint, and what he's doing from a scheme point of view on the defensive side of the ball. And in games that Kyle Shanahan has gone up against Mike Macdonald, he's averaging about 18 points per game. And Shanahan's points per game by season as the head coach of the Niners from 2017 forward here: 20.7, 21.4, 29.9, 23.5, 25.1, 26.5, 28.9, 22.9 this year, 25.7. So it's all the way down to 18 against Mike Macdonald. Why is Mike Macdonald, Will, so successful against Kyle Shanahan with his defense against this Shanahan offense?
Well, he does a great job of winning the chess match. What Shanahan, Sean McVay, LaFleur as well over in Green Bay, they all do a great job of using motions to kind of figure out what the defense is about to do, and then they exploit that weakness by letting their quarterback make changes at the line of scrimmage. What Macdonald does a great job of doing is never really tipping his hand. And what Macdonald also has done a great job of is clear defensive line development. So what you are seeing from the defensive line in Leonard Williams, with Byron Murphy, DeMarcus Lawrence, Uchenna Nwosu, and even back in his time when he was over in Baltimore with a guy like Justin Madubuike, right? You're seeing career years from these guys. Now, some of it is a little bit of technique, some of it is scheme design, and then some of it is the players themselves getting the most out of what their potential is. And that has allowed him, in his understanding of the line of scrimmage and the battles in the trenches, has allowed Macdonald to build one of the best defenses in the entire National Football League. So much so that you see a disciple of his, Jesse Minter, now being one of the hot head coach candidates in this upcoming NFL offseason head coaching search. And frankly, I think he's going to get a job. It's because he is the kryptonite to what these offenses are doing, because he's doing the same thing just from the opposite side of the football. And what you've seen from Macdonald with great success year in and year out is an intense militaristic style that really helps push the players forward in a way that almost like a general would. It's like a General Sherman type of attack when it comes to offenses. What I will be interested to see, because I do think this is where the game will lie, can CMC and Trent Williams rush for more than, let's say, 70 yards or so in this matchup? If CMC is able to run for more yards specifically on that left side than what he did in the first two matchups, I do believe that the 49ers will put themselves in the best position to win the game, because they will control the time of possession, which no matter how good you scheme up a game, no matter how well your players are playing defensively, they will get tired if the opposing offense has the ball for too long.
For Niner fans who are watching Mike Macdonald's defense, in this game against Kyle Shanahan's offense, just watch what he's doing pre-snap and post-snap, right? You're going to see heavy disguises. You're going to see a lot of post-snap rotation. You're going to see a lot of four-man pressures with some stunts. What I think is so incredible about the Seahawks personnel, positional versatility and multiplicity from players, They're so good in stopping the run. I think they're very suffocating in short yardage situations and in the red zone. They do such a great job with that too high shell of limiting explosive plays. And Mike Macdonald, a sign of a good coach and a culture builder, do your players hustle? Do they rally to the football?
Oh, yeah.
You see that with the Seahawks team as well. Also want to talk Jackson Smith and Jigba. A lot of people thought he was going to have a breakout year this year. He's had that breakout year.
Mm-hmm.
How good has he been all season long? He's just such a mismatch nightmare. And I love how Clint Kubiak uses him too.
Yeah, well, what you're seeing is a player that I think a lot of people in Seattle were hopeful for what he would become. But no one could have seen this happening. JSN is not only winning on the inside, which is the slot receiver. That was a position that everyone kind of knew he would be great at. What you're seeing him actually win the most on is when he's outside on the edges. And he does a great job of running crisp routes. And I think JSN might have the best one-cut ability that I've seen since Chad Ochocinco. And what I mean by that is knowing where he needs to cut on the field. JSN speeds up his route or slows down his route to get cornerbacks to get out of their back pedal. And what I mean by that is when you see corners backpedaling down like this, they are trying to set themselves to be up in a situation where they can break forward on the football if the receiver stops to go and either run a slant or run an in or run a hitch. What JSN does a great job of is disguising what he is truly running. So you'll see a lot of times where cornerbacks will start to run backwards like they're worried he's going to beat them deep, and he immediately puts on the brakes 1-2 step and he's turning around and catching the football. He also does a great job with his head movement. You'll see JSN run a lot, and he's moving his head from side to side in a way that makes the cornerback think that he's going to go to the right when really he knows he's going to go to the left, or vice versa. They always tell you when you're young in football to stare at the guy's hips. Well, even the NFL players make those mistakes, and you're seeing JSN really take advantage of that. And Kubiak has done a great job as well. While the running attack for Seattle isn't otherworldly, let's just say that, it is still something that other teams have to be ready for. And what Seattle does a great job of understanding is when teams commit that extra guy into the box for that rushing attack, JSN is usually going to be left by himself in a one-on-one matchup. And Sam Darnold just spams the JSN button. And for whatever reason, this year, more often than not, it's a damn good play.
Before we hop on out of here, just real quick, just rattle off some keys to the game for the Seahawks to win. I'll do the same for the Niners here.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to magically get healthier. I don't know what you have to do. I don't know what magnesium you have to take, whatever, over the counter. Just get healthier, and I don't know how you do that. Obviously, in more of a gameplay standpoint, Seattle's got to get home with 4. When Seattle has won football games this year, it's because their defensive line has done a great job of getting into the backfield. Can DeMarcus Lawrence, who has been on the injury report, come up big in this game again? Uchenna Nwosu, Boye Mafe, Derek Hall. They have to find a way to get after Brock Purdy, make him uncomfortable because he can be susceptible to turnovers. Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, them as well up the middle. And then on the offensive side of the football, we saw it in Week 18. When you run the football, you win football games. And it feels like Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet have done a great job the last month or so of really understanding how this long outside zone scheme works and where to look for the holes and when to hit them at the appropriate time. Early on in the year, they really struggled with that. They are not struggling right now, and that's why you're seeing more and more big explosive play runs happen for Seattle. Especially if your quarterback's going to be dealing with a core injury, you better be able to run the football and control time of possession in this one.
Great stuff from Will right there. And for the Niners, offense has to be a lot better than they were in Week 18. Of course, 3 points is not going to cut it, and I think it starts with the offensive line. That's in pass protection. That's also running the ball. The Niners were not good in either of those areas against this vaunted Seahawks defense in Week 18. San Francisco also has to stop the run. In Week 18, I thought Seattle did a great job of hogging the ball. They possessed the ball for about 37 minutes of that game. They ran it 39 times. If they do that and they keep that Niners offense on the sideline, San Francisco's offense, which is rhythm-based, gets a little bit stagnant. And can the Niners do what they haven't done in 2 games against Sam Darnold this season, generate that big turnover, which can obviously impact the scoreboard, but flip the momentum of the game? I'll be live on the 49ers Report for a watch party. Will Ortner will be live on Seahawks Today for a watch party. Subscribe to both of our channels. Hopefully you enjoyed our preview, and we'll catch you later Saturday night, divisional round for the right to play in the NFC Championship game.
All right, we are back. That was our joint preview that Chase and I did earlier today. You can literally hear my very first reaction to when Sam Darnold, the injury news broke around him and what kind of the issues that he was facing. Don't worry, we've been paying attention to you guys in the chat. There's a lot of people that think I'm a little too freaked out, but I think that there are some people that aren't freaked out enough. There's 174 of you still hanging out with us. Go in and smash that thumbs up button. Let's get over 130 likes. We're at 106 right now. Early Bash had this to say. Early Bash, you're going to be a part of our mailbag, sir. Does Sam Darnold wear a QB flak jacket? I could see him wearing one for this game if he usually doesn't. I believe that he normally does from the pictures that I've seen from Sam Darnold. Most quarterbacks nowadays just do wear it. Every once in a while, you might see a quarterback here and there not wear it simply because they like to move around, run around a little bit more. But Sam's not one of those guys. Obviously, that is going to give him extra protection. But for those of you who have never had a core injury before, everything you do just hurts. Everything that you do makes you not feel good because you always use your core. Your core is a part of everything that you do. So just understand that he's going to play. Sam has made that very clear. We don't have to freak out about him not being able to go anymore. But it is important to note that he will not be 100%. Anyone that thinks he will be 100%, I unfortunately have some bad news there for you. Banana! Good to see you, man. Sam is fine. In his interview, he said it was sore and didn't want to risk it. He said there's 0% chance he doesn't play. You're right. You're right. Sam did say that, and he is going to play. I also think it's important to remember that just because a guy is going to play doesn't mean that he's going to be at 110% and doesn't mean that he's going to be able to do everything that he wants to do. I unfortunately do have to be the doom and gloom police here today. Because if we're going to act like this Sam Darnold injury isn't that big of a deal, it isn't a scary thing, it isn't something that we should be worried about as Seahawks Nation, as the 12s, I think we got another thing coming. Robert Saleh is one of the best defensive coordinators in the National Football League. I understand that the 49ers don't have a good pass rush. All they got to do is get to him once and hit him the right way one time. I think it's also terrifying, and Jerry brought up this point, and I think it's a great point that Jerry made. If this had happened at the beginning of the week, Seattle would have a clear injury plan for him. Seattle does not have a clear injury plan for him because it just happened literally today. Literally right now it just happened. So if he is unable to go, just be aware that Seattle has to find a way to find a way, if that makes any sense. If that makes any sense. Easily Bash. I just noticed Arroyo out. Oops, I hadn't realized. Elijah Arroyo was a full participant in practice. He doesn't have a game status on the sheet that I am seeing right now. Now, we do have to remember that he was on IR, so he does have to be cleared to be able to go out and play. And I have not seen anyone report yet any information. Oh, I've seen that. So what I've seen here on Arroyo is that he could be activated. He has not been officially activated. Cross was back out on practice. I have it right here. He has no injury status, full participant, so that is a good sign for Seattle. The injury things to note, obviously Sam Darnold, questionable. Josh Jones, he is listed as out. Nobody else on Seattle has an injury designation. When you look over at the San Francisco 49ers, Jair Brown is out. Jacob Cowing is questionable. Luke Gifford, linebacker, questionable. Ricky Pearsall is questionable. He was a limited participant in practice all week. Fred Warner is officially out. He will not be able to go in this one. And then D. Winters, the starting linebacker, opposite of Kendricks, he is listed as questionable as well. Joe Blow, I do appreciate the super chat. I'll look. Let's see if Joe Blow put something in here. I see it. So if Darnold is out, I mean, we have to give the other team a chance somehow. I would say this, Joe Blow, he's going to play. I think some of my early fears are no longer there about Darnold, meaning like, will he be able to play? Yes, he will be able to play. But what version will we get out of Sam? That is kind of what my fear is and kind of where I'm at right now. Jerry crossed a full go in today's practice. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. So I think some of my fear around him, I think we can exercise that and say that it's gone. That doesn't mean that I still feel 100% comfortable with Amari Kight and where he's at, and he will be the backup. So that is important to make sure that we denote. Jerry also says Arroyo had to be activated today to play. We'll get him back next week. Right. So he doesn't have an injury designation. He was a full participant in practice. I believe that there is still a way that he can be activated. Seattle they just have not done so right now. Feel like I'll be ready to go Saturday. That's what Sam Darnold is saying. I know that we will be ready to go on Saturday. Don't miss out on our watch party. Come on in and party with us. Jerry likes to do so. Had a lot of fun with Jerry the last couple of weeks. If you have not subscribed to the channel, now is an excellent time to do so that way you do not miss out on all of the fun that will be going on Saturday. A lot of hijinks, a lot of hilarity, a lot of me, a lot of Searle, a lot of you, because we involve our great listeners, our great fans here at Seahawks Today to have a lot of fun and to make sure that we do have a good time. So remember, Searle, we do want to start with the L3 because we haven't fully started yet. But that is okay. I do appreciate you going through some of those. We are still 13 likes away from that 130 number. There's 158 of you hanging out with us. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to set a 3-minute timer if you want to get in a super chat to be a part of our mailbag today. Now is the time to do so. You got to make sure that you get it in that 3-minute timer, that 3-minute window. I'm going to hit so right now. You can keep using those hashtag Seahawks as well. Try and get yourself involved in today's show and in the video. If you could add 10 on each of those. 20, please. Thank you. We are 9 likes away from that 130 mark. I don't know if you know this, but that was our goal for today. So come on in, hit that thumbs up button if you want to be a part of or try to be a part of the mailbag. What you need to do is send in a hashtag Seahawks question, or you can send in a super chat. Right now I'm seeing that Plasmac, I hope I said your name right, asks, is it bad? It's definitely worrisome. I tell you that right now. It's worrisome with where he is. Drew Lock is a capable backup for the Seahawks. Drew Lock is someone who could be able to go for Seattle if Darnold ends up taking a shot and isn't able to fly out onto the field at any point in this game. But it does feel like that Sam Darnold is pretty confident in his ability to go out and perform at a high level. Like I said, we are just 3 likes away from hitting our 130 like goal. We had a whole plan for today's show. I want to make sure that I give a special shout out to Searle right now. Absolutely killing it behind the scenes, running the 1s and the 2s for us today, because about 10 minutes before we were ready to go live, S hit the fan. And of course, I am talking about Sam Darnold and everything that was going on there. Redmond, honestly, can we trust Drew Lock? I hope so, man. I hope so, because he's got to be ready to go, and he's got to be preparing like he's going to be the starter. We hit that 130 like goal. Really appreciate it. You only got a minute left, so make sure that you use your hashtags to get on the show today, or you can send in that super to guarantee yourself to be a part of our mailbag. It will go out tomorrow. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure that you are a part of it. Back to life. Yeah, I think you'd be pretty terrified if one of your better guys was hurt and not ready to go. Right now, we're in that super chat battle, that sub battle with the 49ers report. We are trailing them right now by 20 new subscribers. If you have a friend who loves the Seahawks but hasn't found Seahawks Today yet, make sure that you shoot that over their way. Make sure that they come on in and hit that sub button. We are growing rapidly here. On the road to 80K, I think we can get there on Saturday. Make sure that you hit that sub button. All right, we are closing in. Searle, are you ready to go, my good sir? So here's what we're going to do. We are going to run our mailbag show where we answer the questions that you guys need answers for. By the way, there's that 3 minutes. Want to make sure I didn't shortchange any of y'all. We're going to run our mailbag. After we run our mailbag, we will come back and re-hit the big news, which of course will be Sam Darnold's injury status. So we will let you know what all has been said before we sign off one more time, just in case people are new here and haven't had a chance to fully check out everything that's going on. Sound good, Searle? Sound good to you, the people? Questions, concerns, threats. Don't make a threat. That'd be bad. All right, we're going to get into our mailbag today. This show will end up going out later on Friday. So if you want to check out yourself, if you got on the show today, make sure that you do. So Jerry's right. Seahawks! And let's get into this video. This is Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and we got to dive into all of the questions that you have surrounding the Seattle Seahawks. And right as we were about to record this, obviously we had some breaking news around Sam Darnold. So whatever questions, whatever fears, whatever concerns that you have, we will get into that on this video. But make sure that you hit that sub button and come and join us on Saturday evening. We will be live here on the channel ahead of the Seahawks 49ers game. We'll be live about an hour before, potentially maybe a little bit earlier than that, just to hang out, have a good time. You can come on in, join us, have questions for myself, have questions for Searle, or interact with all the other 12s that are having a good time watching Seahawks Today. Now, we're going to get into our first question. This is coming to our good friend Patrice Moment. Good to see you. Seahawks, does it change anything in the game plans that Fred Warner is officially ruled out? Yeah, I think it makes you feel more comfortable as a Seahawks fan, as a offensive coordinator, if you're Clint Kubiak, and if you're the running backs for Seattle, to run the ball up the middle. Fred Warner is the best football player right now at that linebacker position. Frankly, he might be the best defensive player in all of football. That's how special he is. Maybe it's Myles Garrett. I digress. When Fred Warner isn't able to go out and play against the Seahawks, that is going to open up some more of the rushing attack up the middle, but also make it easier to find some of the tight end passing catchers that Seattle obviously has. It'll make life easier for A.J. Barner. It'll make life easier for the rest of the crew, and make life a lot easier for Seahawks that are coming across the middle in this matchup. So that is something that is important to check out. Richie! I want Sam to play, but I'm confident with this defense and run game for Drew Lock to come in and manage the game. Richie obviously putting this in the chat after the news broke about Sam Darnold. Now, Sam has since made it clear that he does intend to play and he expects to be out on the field for the Seahawks. So that is the good news for us, and it's good news for the squad. But it is important to note that the Seahawks do have a very capable backup behind Sam Darnold. In fact, so much so of a capable backup that Seattle, they're thinking about trusting him if he has to go out to really handle this offense, since he hasn't played since, I don't know, week 3 against the New Orleans Saints. We've seen Drew Lock come in as a backup in Seattle and perform at a really high level and do a lot of really good things for the Seahawks. So yes, I do feel comfortable if he were to be ran back out on the field. Easily Bash. I feel like our secondary is playing their best ball right now, and the front seven is just nasty. They can carry the Hawks big time through the playoffs. #Seahawks, #dark side. Couldn't agree more easily. I've been very impressed with this defense, and I think that even if Sam Darnold was 100% healthy, the defense would still kind of carry this offense. We've seen it happen all year long. They're going to have to be firing on all cylinders. Can't have a bad defensive game against San Francisco in this matchup on Saturday, because I don't know what the offense is going to be able to give us. We'll know pretty quickly in the game plan how Seattle feels about Darnold, because a lot of what this offense is built on is the play action pass and getting him out of the pocket using his mobility. If they're not able to do that, which I don't know that Seattle will be able to do all that often, then the defense has to play lights out. The defense has to shut down this 49ers offense. They did it in the last game, but that was also without Ricky Pearsall and without Trent Williams. Trent Williams, he's going to play in this matchup. Ricky Pearsall, He's still listed as questionable, but if he does go, that's another weapon that the 49ers have. Seattle's got to be ready and loaded for bear. Come on in and hit that sub button right now. We've been in a sub battle all week long with the 49ers report. I'll make sure that I get you the final totals on that when we come back on Sunday after the Seahawks, fingers crossed, come away with a victory against the San Francisco 49ers. I'll make sure that you don't miss out on any of that. Hit that sub button. Nice. Credit to whoever came up with that name. Who is the Seahawks X Factor on Saturday? Well, I came into this show prepared to tell you that Seattle was going to have to run the football. I've been telling you that all frickin' week. I believe it more than ever. It's not one X Factor, it's two. And it's Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. These two have to play at a level of aggression and an elite level on the ground if the Seahawks are going to win this football game. You've seen that rushing attack sputter early in the year, but as of late, they've really taken a gigantic step forward and a gigantic leap forward as a squad. Seattle has to be able to run the football to take some of the pressure off of Sam Darnold in this game. It's going to be the only way that Seattle wins this game. I don't know that I expected Sam Darnold to throw the ball all over the San Francisco 49ers defense coming into this matchup. I certainly don't feel that way now. The running game is going to have to eat up a lot of time of possession, control the clock, move the football forward on this 49ers defense while at the same time beating up on the defense so that way as the game moves on, the runs get further and further. Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, you're going to have to piggyback this offense just a little bit. Let me know, who is your X Factor for the Seahawks in this matchup? Let me know down below in the comment section. I'm very interested in who you think could be a big-time performer for the Seahawks right now. Obviously, I'm cheating. I'm kind of taking two of them. But really, it's going to come down to what the Seahawks rushing attack does against the 49ers. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and having a good time. If you're not a part of the NOTI gang, now is the perfect opportunity for you to do so. Go on in, hit that bell icon. You can see it right here. Go in, hit that button. You will be alerted the minute that we have a video out on the channel, and that way you never miss any of the content that we have on the Seattle Seahawks, especially when there's breaking news around your quarterback, Sam Darnold. I'm going to answer your super chats next, but before I do so, I need to let you know about the sponsor of today's video, because this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine or making player picks for the first time, trying something new can be hard. But in life and on Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure playoff matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never stops. And on Prize Picks, lets you take control. New feature alert! Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. Find your community on Prize Picks with the new social feeds feature. You can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups from winners with a single click. Copy lineups you like or use them as inspiration for your own picks. You can even follow Prize Picks partners like us and tail or fade our picks with just one click. Check out the max discount that Prize Picks has on the app this Friday at 3 p.m. all the way through Sunday. Check out the max discount in the Prize Picks app this Friday at 3 p.m. through Sunday. This weekend, CJ Stroud just needs one passing yard to win. Right there, 99% off CJ Stroud max discount. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Jerry crossed a full go in today's practice. Yes, sir, he was. It does look like after a brief scare on Wednesday, Charles Cross going back to a limited participant, it does look like he will be ready to go, and that is always a plus for the Seattle Seahawks. Excited to see that left tackle be back in that number one spot, especially since Josh Jones is officially out. So the backup will not be able to play for the Seahawks in that one. All right. The other big news with Charles Cross, he was dealing with a knee injury earlier on this week. I think he'll be okay, though. Really fighting through the hamstring injury and the knee injury as well. If you haven't had the opportunity, make sure that you go in and like this video. This is just ridiculous. Whoever made this is an evil, evil person. Who would you rather play next? Hashtag Seahawks. That's ridiculous. Whoever put that logo in, I know, despise them. When we're looking at who the Seahawks could potentially play next, I don't know that a lot of people are going to feel comfortable going to that spot or going to that position, but here is the divisional round for the Rams and the Chicago Bears. Rams obviously are the favorite in that matchup. I think it is important to note, it is important to talk about with that game, that if the Rams are able to come out on top and the Seahawks come out on top, we've seen that matchup before. We know what it's going to take to beat the Rams. With the Bears, it feels like they're snake bitten. They have good things going their way. I guess I shouldn't say snake bitten. They are more of a team that just all the luck seems to go in their favor. So make sure that if it is the Bears, ready to go for that one, but also ready to play a long, long time. Now we're going to get into all the super chats that were sent in on today's show. Appreciate everyone who did so. We always make sure that we get all the supers on our show. If you send in a super in a mailbag, we make sure to show you. Easily Bash, I just noticed Arroyo out. Oops, I hadn't realized. Well, right now he has no injury designation for the Seahawks. Obviously trying to work him back in at the time of recording. Hopefully he will end up being okay to go. But he does still have another week if he's not able to be declared in this one. Banana says that Sam is fine in his interview. He said it was sore and didn't want to risk it. There's 0% chance he doesn't play. Agreed, Banana. There is 0% chance that he doesn't play, but will he be able to play at the peak of his abilities? I'm not so sure. Easily Bash, does Sam Darnold wear a QB flak jacket? I could see him wearing one for this game if he usually doesn't. He will 100% wear that flak jacket. I've seen Sam wear the flak jacket before. I guarantee he will wear it again in this one. Dex, what's going on? Sammy D showed us how tough he is last year when he knocked us out of the playoffs at Lumen. Seahawks win 35-0. Couldn't agree more, man. Couldn't agree more. He should be ready to go. And I do think that we aren't going to see 100% of Sam, but I think that he will show us just how tough he is. Dave says maybe this is a play to get the 49ers to scheme for Locke. If you're the 49ers right now and you're not scheming for Drew Lock, I don't know what to tell you. I believe that they will scheme for him. But I'll also say right now, I think Sam Darnold will start. The only way you see Drew Lock is if he takes a big shot. Xander, let's go, baby. Sam's got this, and the Seahawks got this. I hope you're right, Xander. I wish I had your confidence. I hope I have your confidence on Saturday. Right now, obviously, still hoping that things end up taking a better turn for the Seahawks in the injury report. Jerry Brooks, if Sam Darnold doesn't play, it hurts bad because of when the injury happened. Because if Locke has to play, he's now playing with very few first-team reps. Definitely freak out worthy. Yes, Jerry and I were in a glass case of emotions. Definitely not feeling all that great at the beginning. I'm feeling a little bit better right now. Christian Malley, this would be a massive blow for you Seahawks fans if Sam Darnold cannot play on Saturday. It would have been. It does look like I said, he is going to play in the matchup, but I do think it's important to also note that if he does go out, this offense is going to look very different. Even if he does play, you're going to see the Seahawks really try and pound the football on the ground. This also is good news for the 49ers because it means the game's more likely going to be a close game. It's more likely to be a close game. Kind of feels like anything can happen. Santiago, Sam said he will be fine, and there is a 0% chance he doesn't play. It's a smoke screen, boys. Don't worry. Go Hawks. Don't know if it's a full smoke screen, but I do feel a lot better that he is going to be able to go out there and play for Seattle. Jerry, damn, Will, I came in hoping you were going to calm me down, freaking out. Obviously, this was at the initial reaction of learning what was going on with Sam. Jerry, we don't need to freak out. He's going to be able to play. I think Seattle still got this. In Mike McDonald, we trust. M.O.B., baby. M.O.B. Light Shadow Onyx. Only the Seahawks could blow a divisional game because of a ton of their players got hurt in practice. Definitely doesn't make me feel good, Light Shadow Onyx. I don't know what they were doing at practice. Definitely not doing the walkthroughs like I hope that they were doing or that they should have done. Shout out to Joe Blow. Thank you for sending in that super as well, man. Really appreciate it. Want to make sure that we got you on the screen just so that we could give you that shout out as well. Thank you again to everyone who tuned in to the show today. It was a ton of fun. Right now, here is our sub battle going on with the 49ers report. We're trying to get there to beat them as best that we can. Trust me, I think that we will. Come on in, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the share button as well. Share the video on social media so that way more Seahawk fans who haven't gotten a chance to check out our channel can do so. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, that was our mailbag segment. Good to see everybody. Hawks Nation, I'm sorry that you got banned for that channel. Thazon says, like Obi-Wan said, let go Will. So here's what we're going to do, Cyril. Let's run back through all of those tweets one last time so we can let the people know what's going on, and then we will sign off. Thank you to everyone who came in and hung out with us. This was obviously our biggest live that we have had here on a weekday. 5,000 people came in at different points. That's freaking awesome. Ari Mirov put this out early on. Sam Darnold has been added to the injury report with an oblique injury. He is questionable for Saturday's divisional round against the 49ers. Basically, Sam went out to practice today, felt a tweak, and basically said that was going to be it. John Boyle, a great beat reporter for the Seahawks, had this to say, that Sam, obviously dealing with that oblique injury, ended up sitting out, but he still expects to play on Saturday. Sam Darnold says that he feels like he will be ready to go for Saturday. So it does look like Sam will be playing. What version of Sam will we be getting? I'm terrified to know. I'm definitely terrified to know. Clint Kubiak had this to say. They did get Drew Lock a lot of the reps with the ones today in practice because of the injury, and also so that way he's in a position to be ready to go if the Seahawks need to call upon him, which, frankly, I think there's a halfway decent chance that they will, especially if Darnold takes a shot. Going to have to lean on the defense as best that we can. Sam Darnold added to the injury report against the San Francisco 49ers just 2 days before the Seahawks were going to take them on. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone who came in and joined the show today. Man, it means the world to me. I know that we're meeting in unfortunate circumstances, but I do think that it will be okay for Seattle. The longer that I've been on air, the more that I've been able to rationalize, calm myself down, and put myself in a good position. We're going to beat those 49ers. Thank you so much to Cyril for running the scenes from behind the show. Absolutely doing a fantastic job at that. Dude was an absolute animal, absolute beast. Thank you guys again for hanging out with us, having a good time, and I cannot wait to see you guys next time.